talk here, guys. We talked a little Amari Cooper earlier. You guys touched on it, but he had 265 against Houston in the first matchup in Week 16. Let's start with this, then we'll get into how Houston's going to have to prepare to slow down the Browns' top target. But he hasn't practiced or played since the Houston game. Well, he's practiced, but he hasn't played since the Houston game. He hasn't practiced this week. Are you guys concerned, even in the slightest, that whatever heel injury he's dealing with will hinder him come Saturday? Or is that just purely rest, veteran guy,
I'm not.
get ready?
I'm not. I mean,
zero concern.
If the pain is intolerable or, more than it should be, they'll give him a shot. It's Amari Cooper. I'm not worried at all.
Well, we got some stuff for that. We like to say,
Yeah.
part of the knee club. If you part of the knee club, you already know.
Yeah,
you already know what they got.
There's an app for that.
There's an app for that. You just download that. You be ready to go. You play 4 quarters.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I mean, I don't think it's anything we should be worried about.
Yeah.
He said he would have played Sunday if needed. So
you just said it, Jay. It's Amari Cooper.
And it's the playoffs.
If this was another receiver who was just a random dude,
Yeah.
I'd be worried.
Yeah.
But it's Amari Cooper. This guy's, I hate to use the cliche, but he's a pro's pro.
I hate this.
And so I trust Amari Cooper totally. They have nobody that can deal with him. Their secondary's not that good. And I'm not expecting him to have 265 yards, but I'm expecting him to have a good game.
Well, that
I think
was
he's
actually
going to have over 100 yards.
That was actually part 2 of the topic. Was
Yeah.
what do you expect him to do coming off of that 265 yards? And I'm with you. That's like someone hits a 4 home run game,
Yeah.
which would be a team record,
Yeah.
and then you as a reporter asks him, "Do you think you can do that again today?"
Right.
Like, no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
He's not going to go for 265. Trust me. Right now, in a meeting room somewhere in Houston,
Yeah.
there's a defensive coordinator yelling and screaming over film and Xing and O'ing on a blackboard, making sure that their mission coming into this game is that Amari Cooper does a tap dance all over that defense again. I still think he'll have a big game. I think it's possible he could have 100 receiving yards and at least 1 touchdown, perhaps 2. But just because he had 265 last time around, please don't make the mistake of expecting that again.
See, this is the thing that they have to be worried about is if you're going to pay attention to them like that, unlike the Texans, they don't have a secondary, hitter, home run hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, David Njoku is the biggest home run hitter in the game when it comes to tight ends. And the fact that he catches the ball and runs past everybody or runs over everybody it just goes to show you the way the game is evolved. No longer, so what happened is you got safeties, right? The safeties used to be the big hitters, the guys that came up and punished people over the middle, but you can't hit that way anymore. So now the game plan is, all right, well, let's go to corners. How's about we rotate our bigger corners and play corners at safety and we could get smaller in the secondary because all we're doing is covering the ball anyway. Now you get guys rumbling around like a David Njoku who catches the ball in open territory, and if the linebacker doesn't get him down, you're looking at 20, 30, 40 more yards. It's just one of those things where now the Browns have 2 guys that they can use, and if Amari Cooper is getting doubled, he still runs really great routes. But I expect David Njoku to play well.
Yeah. And Amari Cooper is very good at every aspect of being a wide receiver, right? He may not be elite, but he's
with the exception of speed. I think his speed is probably average.
Yeah, I mean it's fine, but
everywhere else I think he is.
He's a great route runner.
Hands,
great hands. His football IQ is through the roof.
He gets off press coverage
easily.
Easily.
But you know what? He may not be the fastest guy, but
he don't get caught that much.
And he uses his he's good at hitting like the angles and just getting a step here and there.
Yeah.
Because of his smarts, and most importantly, or also important, is the fact that right now, even though he didn't play in the Jets game, his chemistry with Joe Flacco is on point.
It is,
and we went through it. We're pretty sure he's never thrown a pick, Flacco, targeting Cooper. So if I'm Joe Flacco, I'm like, well, this guy now Njoku is great, and all these other guys. This guy's my best player. I want to get this guy the ball. So I'm expecting Amari Cooper to have double-digit targets, and I'm expecting Amari Cooper to have 100 yards and a touchdown.
You know what's so fascinating, guys, is even go back to the year 2019 when we had Odell Beckham and Jarvis. Go back further. You could go back, I would say, maybe 10, 15 years. The Cleveland Browns never, ever, ever, ever completed deep balls. I could count on my hand.
Maybe Josh Gordon.
Maybe
That
Josh
was about
Gordon.
it.
You go back to Bernie. Bernie
yeah,
was
right.
good at deep ball.
But
Webster Slaughter, Reggie
since they've been
Langhorne.
back, it's really only been Josh Gordon, and that team sucked, so it didn't matter.
Right.
And
And,
so-
it was fleeting.
Yeah,
it
right.
lasted for that
Right.
long, you know.
And then you get now Joe Flacco. He comes in. He's hit a deep ball to Goodwin. He's hit multiple deep balls to David Njoku, who's throwing the ball deep, and Amari Cooper. I mean, so it's just like it's this part of the playbook that's been opened up now that it's weird because I'm not used to seeing it. I think we all aren't used to seeing that. Like, we're not used to seeing guys, take deep shots. We've taken shots before, but, they always talk about it. Some of those deep shots are just generated because you want a flag. You're like, let's throw it up here and see if we can get something.
Let me give you another stat that we're not used to. Despite the complaints about not running the ball enough, but people are not really doing that anymore because they're throwing the ball so well.
Me and Jay stopped him.
I know, we did.
Before Joe Flacco was the Browns quarterback this year, the Browns ran the ball on first down 50.4% of the time, which was,
I bet that would be high.
which
Compared
is
to the league
ninth in
average.
the NFL,
Yeah.
eighth in the NFL.
Yeah, I would say that would be above the average.
Since Joe Flacco has become the quarterback, they pass the ball on first down. You want to guess what percentage of
I'd
time?
say 55 to 60%. Seems like they're always starting drives
What do
with
you
passing.
think? 55 to 60?
Yeah.
What do you say?
I'll go 70.
7%.
57, Mike?
I'm going 70.
Not quite that crazy,
Wow.
but Mike's closest. 65% of the time they throw on first down.
That's crazy.
Number one in the NFL. They throw the ball most on first down than any other team. And how good has their offense been?
I'm glad you brought that up,
Yeah.
and I'm going to – when John was making the point in the Cavaliers game
Yeah.
about how this is an accident that they figured out what Jaron Allen – it was because of the two players that were injured.
Right.
Ball-dominant guys, one
Yeah.
that plays similarly to him. So they've kind of stumbled upon that, and it might help JB going forward because now he knows we have got to get Jared more involved in the offense. I think the Browns – and I don't want to say stumbled into this success. It happened accidentally, but this is what Kevin Stefanski's been trying to do with this offense since the day he arrived in town. Why are they doing that? The play fake, and again, the art of the play fake, which has been kind of washed out of the NFL, particularly those that carry it out so well, it's working because when Joe takes that turn and hides the ball on his hip, it freezes the safety for a split second. Sometimes, if the team is ready for a run-heavy offense, he'll even take a step towards the line to start cheating in. What does that allow the Browns to do? That one step is enough for a guy like Amari Cooper.
That's right.
Oh, you just gave me a free meal.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's going to run by him, and Flacco is going to get him. So just like the Cavs kind of stumbled upon this Allen thing and unlocked his real potential, I think what the message of this season, whether it ends Saturday in Houston or it goes to the Super Bowl, the one thing that I hope they carry into next season and that Deshaun Watson has realized by watching this, damn, that's a weapon.
By the way,
that is a weapon, and he's got to start using it.
you know who is actually, I give him credit.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker's actually decent at it too.
Very good at it.
Nobody,
which is, I think, why he has
Flacco's the
success.
best guy I've seen do it in years.
You're right. I keep
He's-
bringing up
he's
Boomer
fantastic.
Esiason. Boomer, to me, was the best I've ever seen do it. And I've had other quarterbacks that I've asked that
Steve
to.
Young was really good.
Steve was pretty good
Yeah.
at it, but everybody said Boomer made it. He spent
He was
a
great at
ton of time at the crouching just right.
Oh, yeah.
Someone once told me that Boomer used to look at tape of his handoffs so he
try to
could
imitate it,
muscle memory what he does when he hands the ball off, because the safety can see the shoulders. And if the shoulders are coming down, then he's, if he constantly does that when he hands off the ball, you've got to go that far in carrying out the play fake. Same motion, ball on hip, stand up, and throw it.
And it's really, I used to think like, oh, you got to be a good running team to have an effective play action, but you don't.
Right.
You really don't, because the Browns, outside of the Jet game, have had an ineffective running game.
However,
with Flacco.
Bull, imagine
If it did-
this
if it did.
offense
that makes it even-
with
sure.
Nick Chubb as the run threat.
Sure,
'Cause you're
then it
right.
would be even more.
But here's my fear.
Yeah.
My fear is teams are going to get on to what we're doing, and they're not afraid of our run game. And the defensive coordinator is preaching discipline, assignment. Guys, whether he's handing the ball off or not, defensive backfields, carry out your assignment. Once you're absolutely certain it's a run, then cheat up and let the front take care of stopping the run.
But the problem is that's easy to say.
I know it is.
Right?
I know, but you're going to come
in the game. Even if you hesitate for a millisecond,
just
it can
a second.
make a difference.
Even if you don't even if you can just freeze the safety for 1 second from helping deep coverage, and he's thinking run, so you're planting a seed that can grow an oak tree.
The problem is when all linebackers have keys. Their keys are usually linebackers' key to guards, right? Your defensive linemen usually key to tackles, and then your safeties look at your tackles and tight ends. So when you got play action is just not really just for the quarterback. When you have your offensive linemen coming off the ball and imitating run blocking, and they're really run blocking
But the thing is, they can't go downfield, which now is 1 yard.
Well, they can't go downfield. But if you're good at what you do and you understand that, and you can put yourself in a position to say, okay, I just need to sell it in the first few steps, then the keys is a false read.
Right, sure.
So false reads for linebackers are devastating. Pulling linemen, bringing the action back this way, because they're taught to read wherever the guard goes, that's 90% what the play is.
And it's a good point, because if you're reading the offensive lineman, you said, well, don't go until you know it's for sure it's a running back.
Sure.
Or it's a running
It's a
play.
handoff.
But if you're looking at the offensive lineman for the key, you don't know.
But I
it looks
still
like
think
run, like, oh, yeah.
I know you said safeties are cheating and are looking at linemen, but they're looking at the quarterback too.
Yeah,
they're following the ball.
Yeah,
and
they're looking at the quarterback size.
What it is it's a big shiny lure to a walleye in Lake Erie, and when that thing is spinning and all the colors are flying, that looks like a handoff to him, and he knows what he's supposed to do. That's his time to eat and come up to the line and help with run support. And just if you can do that 3 or 4 times a game, you've got 3 or 4 opportunities for deep shots.
We just got great news. Amari Cooper practicing today.
Yeah.
What else, Mike? Anything else?
That is great news.
Only other guys not practicing, Tillman and Hopkins, so it looks like it'll be Riley Patterson. We talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, we already knew that.
Off. Tillman still in concussion protocol. Guys, if the Texans do put 2, 3, 4 guys on Amari Cooper to slow him down, or at least attempt to slow him down on Saturday, how confident are you guys that Elijah Moore and David Bell on the outside, not Njoku, he doesn't count, but on the outside, whether it's Bell or Moore, can beat guys in one-on-one coverage and be a consistent, reliable factor in the passing game for Joe Flacco?
First of all, I just disagree with the premise of that question, because it's not easy to you can't just put 2, 3 guys on one guy. It just doesn't work that way. Otherwise, if it were that easy, we'd see it all the time against the best receivers, and that doesn't happen. So I disagree with the premise of the question. In theory, if the Texans can shut down Amari Cooper, that's a problem. I mean, I have a lot of faith in David Njoku, but I don't have a lot of faith in any of the other wide receivers being consistent in this game.
I think the wide receivers will be consistent because Joe Flacco is playing. If you look at it, when they throw the ball, David Bell, he's caught the ball, right? When they throw it into Elijah Moore, for the most part, he's caught the ball. When they throw to David Njoku, he's caught the ball.
We collectively have had a lot of drops. Now, that has not happened under Flacco.
Right.
And we were saying, is this a product of DTR throwing the ball 1,000,000 miles an hour? Looks like it was, because the drops have gone away.
P.J. Walker had drops. Even Deshaun Watson had some drops with some guys earlier in the season, like Elijah Moore and guys like that. So, for me, it's weird. It's like, it's just a professional offense. And that's hard to say, because I used to always ask myself, why are these routes never available when the Browns play? Seems like these guys are in a phone booth. Guys are all over us. We throwing into double and triple coverage. It was like, just to move the chains, it just felt like the Browns' previous offenses were just bottled up. And now you're starting to see guys just, I'm going to run my 12-yard comeback route wide open. I'm going to run we couldn't even get deep over a drag route to work. Now David Njoku catches 2 or 3 of those a game.
How do you explain that, G? I think the only thing that's different is Flacco. But you're right. You've complained about the offense for 2 years. How it just has never resembled a really good, well-oiled passing offense. And Joe Flacco comes in, and in 5 games, all of a sudden, guys are open. He has multiple options on some plays for different receivers, where in the past, it looks like there's nobody open and able to catch a football.
You know what? I've gone back. And because I, have all these games and all 22, and I went back a little bit during the Cincinnati week and was watching it. There are a lot of times where they're calling these same type plays, right? For all the quarterbacks, P.J. Walker, DTR.
Why are they working with Flacco?
Because Flacco is taking certain things. He's taking that little check down. He's taking those little small routes that you don't really – the other guys are looking for big plays. There's times where there may be a guy coming open for 10 yards, and they're looking deep to get the big play. They're looking for the big shot play. And the great thing about what Flacco does is if you notice how many opportunities you see either Jerome Ford or Amari Cooper have the ability to catch the ball and run afterwards.
Right.
And we weren't seeing that. Sometimes you just got to take that. And if you keep taking that check down or keep taking that little dump off or you keep taking that and guys are running, after the catch, they're going to be frustrated. And when they get frustrated, they're going to come up and then you can get your deep
So it's
shots.
timing, you think?
It's timing.
And
routes
that's
are
a
there.
veteran savvy, just knowledge of the game.
Yeah, just I don't knowing that I don't have to get that right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna log that away and I can get. I'm gonna come back to it. I'm gonna revisit it.
It's like a good chess player.
Yeah, good chess player. Or you get older, you know what I'm saying? So you got a little expendable income. You start working, you get a job, and you be like, I don't really need that. I don't need that car yet. I'll check on it in a year or so.
Yeah.
And for a young guy, what you mean I ain't checking on no car in a
need it
year?
now.
I want that today. But the older savvy guy is like, you go right back to that car lot. It's half the price it was, and I don't gotta finance it. Right?
Yeah, right.
So it's
Patience.
all about patience.
Patience.
It's all you think about, man.
And that comes with experience, and he certainly has it.
Yeah. I don't think in the end, though, the Texans will be able to shut down Amari Cooper.